Dear children, this series of 4 lessons covers the competency level 1.5, investigates the process of respiration in human being. To cover this competency level, it is allocated 5 periods. This first lesson or the first video discusses the mechanism of external respiration, the structure of the respiratory system, and describes the characteristics of the epithelium in the nasal cavity and the role of the mucous membrane and cilia. The second lesson mainly discusses the structure and adaptation of the alveoli for the efficient gas exchange. The third lesson is prepared to explain the actual respiration or the energy formation as a result of cellular respiration. Final lesson is to discuss the diseases and disorders related to respiratory system. The first lesson covers the textbook topic process of respiration, 150 to 153 pages. At the end of this lesson or the video, you should be able to conduct simple activity to explain the mechanism of external respiration, and you should be able to describe the characteristics of a respiratory surface or efficient gaseous exchange and the role of mucous membrane and cilia. You know that respiration is one of the basic biological functions in all living beings. Why this respiration is needed? Because energy is needed to function all biological activities. How do this living organism get this energy? They obtain the needed energy by burning of glucose or the simple sugar. You know that glucose is the simplest form of organic compound. You have already learned the digestive system and the products of digestion and the simplest form of all organic compounds. So, glucose is the major energy source. When burning of glucose within the body releases energy, and two byproducts such as carbon dioxide and water are released. This process happens within the body cells with the help of biological catalysts named as enzymes. The process taken place within the special organelle called mitochondria. In your grade 10 lessons, you have learned about the cell and the organelles of the cell. So, you learned that mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. And this respiration process is very complex process, including many steps. So you have to learn it in stepwise manner during these 4 lessons. So let's see the type of respiration. For the easiness, we can categorize it into 3 main categories. Normally what you have learned at respiration in your smaller grades, just taken it as inhalation and exhalation, or breathing in and breathing out. But at the end of this session, you will learn that is not the real respiration. That is not the energy production. The real respiration is the formation of energy. But for that formation of energy, these other kinds of activities also needed. Here, we can divide this respiration into 3 stages: external respiration, gas exchange in the alveoli, and the internal respiration of the cellular respiration. What is external respiration or breathing? Here we discuss that gas exchange between external environment and to the lungs. Simply we can identify this as inspiration or inhalation and expiration or exhalation, breathing in and breathing out. What are the organs involved in this process? You have already learned that we breathe in and breathe out through our nasal cavity. Just take that breathing in. The atmospheric air goes to the nasal cavity, then to the pharynx and past the larynx and comes to the trachea, the windpipe, then bronchus, bronchioles or the lungs. Right? So, let's learn the mechanism of breathing in and out. What will happen when we breathe in and breathing out? How can you identify externally? When we inhale or breathing in the air in outer environment, first learn what are the characteristics of this air. The first thing is the temperature of this breathing air is in low temperature, and it is obvious that it is mixed with dust and other pollutants like bacteria, virus, anything. So when it comes to the nasal cavity, you know that nasal cavity is covered with a special epithelium with cilia. Here it is given you the structure of this epithelium. Here you can see these microscopic cilia. You cannot touch, or you cannot touch and feel, or you cannot see through your naked eye. It is, this whole thing is microscopic. And within this epithelium cells, a mucus secretory cells also present. So secretion of mucus is a characteristic of this epithelium. The cilia and why this mucus and the cilia, what kind of function they do in this inside the nasal cavity? You can understand when microbes or virus like things comes, because of these small structures, these microbes will retain within these cilia, and that means dust and other particles also trapped by this cilia. So this is acted as a purifying filter like thing. So what will happen? So this clear out the inhale air for a certain amount. So then this purified air goes to the windpipe. As soon as this out air enters to the body, now I said that this the air comes from the environment is less temperature because it is in the atmospheric temperature. But when it comes to the nasal cavity, that air rises up to the body temperature. That is also happen inside the nasal cavity. Now let's see the main respiratory organ, that is the lungs. Before that, let's see the parts of this respiratory system. Here, from this nasal cavity, it comes to the larynx. Air passes through here during breathing. Then it comes to the trachea or the windpipe. It is a cartilaginous kind of tube, C-shaped cartilage. It is formed with C-shaped cartilages. And this windpipe carries the air to the bronchus and then to the bronchioles. These things are inside the lungs, two lobes of lungs, and end up with alveolus, large number of alveoli present in the lungs. So alveoli is the place where actual gas exchange takes place. Now you can find the location of the lungs. It is in the thoracic cavity, protected by the rib cage and with intercostal muscles. What are these intercostal muscles? Here gives the clear picture of this intercostal muscles. And you can see the The lungs, the lower limit of this thoracic cavity is the diaphragm. Why I mention all these things several times? Because these, you have to remember these structures, because you have to explain the mechanism of inhalation and exhalation. What will happen to the rib cage? What will happen to these intercostal muscles? And how this breathing in and breathing out mechanism taken place. So you should know to explain them very clearly. So how this, let's see the gas exchange mechanism. What will happen to the lungs when inhale or inspiration? Muscles in the chest will contract like this. Inhalation, muscles in the chest will contract. Lifting the ribs and pulling them outward. Here, lifting and pulling outward. Diaphragm moves downward, enlarging the chest cavity. Earlier it was in upward. Here, now let's see how this diaphragm moves downward. Here, it moves downward and increase the volume here. When increases the volume, what will happen? The pressure inside, it will decrease. So to fill this pressure, what will happen? Outer air or the atmospheric air comes to the nasal cavity to fill that. So thereby, now the enters the air into the lungs. That is breathing in or inspiration or inhalation. Now let's see what will happen. Exhalation or breathing out. Intercostal muscles now relax, comes down to the earlier position. Sternum and ribs move into its original position. Now sternum comes downward and come to its original position. Earlier it goes up. This is the sternum. It goes upward and increase the volume. Now come to its initial position. The diaphragm relaxed and became curved as the earlier. Volume of the lung now decreases. Now what has happened? Inside the pressure is increased, gas goes out. So you have to remember this, what is happening here for the rib cage, for the intercostal muscles, and the volume and the pressure. By using these four, you should be able to explain the mechanism of the breathing in and breathing out. So you can, in your textbook in page 151, this activity is given to you to understand actually what is happening, because looking at your body you cannot see how this enlargement happens. So now here, using a bell jar, the underneath is covered with the balloon membrane, and here using this white tube fixing two balloons. Now you can see when we push down this, if you push it up, what will happen here? You can understand the volume decreases, then the pressure increases. Then what will happen? Air outside comes. So these two balloons acted as the two lungs. These two lungs fill with air. Now for the exhalation process, what we will do, we have to bring when we pull down the membrane down, what will happen? The volume increases, pressure decreases. I will explain it again. So when you have to separate, set the apparatus as shown in the diagram. Push and release the balloon membrane. Push and release the balloon membrane and observe the conditions of the balloon. If you push it, what will happen? Volume reduce the volume. pressure increases. So then the air goes up, and like breathing out. When you pull it down, what will happen? Volume increases, reducing the pressure. Outward air comes inside and fill the two balloons. Here rubber membrane acted as the diaphragm, two balloons acted as the lungs. This gas tube is like the windpipe. Bell jar is acted as the thoracic cavity. Normally in the exam papers or the test papers, you should be able to compare these parts with the actual respiratory system parts. Now, as a summary, what you should know in this presentation: the gas exchange mechanism and how this nasal cavity is adapted to do this process. These are the two major things that you have to pay your attention. Now we came to the end of this lesson. Here also I would like to give a special thank to Mr. G.T. Subasinghe, retired project officer, Science NIE Sri Lanka. Thank you all of you for watching this. If you think this is useful, please tell your friends the link. Thank you.